the jurisdiction of the sultans is over there, right? Or is this part of the reconstruction of history where there was sultanship here, right? Because we know that there's literature out there where the quote-unquote sultan or sultans of Morocco are classified as Americans. The sultans, the people who are supposed to be the heads, not of here, are classified or are acknowledged or recognized as Americans. But how are they Americans over here if Morocco is only over there, right? If Fez, Morocco is over there. If all these relations that people are making to quote unquote Morocco and Moroccans and sultans and everything else shouldn't be discussed about over here. They shouldn't be having interactions over here. They shouldn't be paying taxes over here. They should be doing that over there. So the confusion that the brother has with regard to Morocco and Morocco is that they keep looking at kingdom and never look at empire. They keep assuming that the kingdom of Morocco is the empire. The kingdom of Morocco are the ones that have supreme authority over Moroccans when they're just a kingdom. And if we're talking about sultans and we're talking about treaties and we're talking about things of that nature, then that's empire jurisdiction. Because more than likely, if it's a treaty, it's going to be the subordinate going to the superior to write the treaty, right? The superior is not going to say, we want to do a treaty with you, United States, because you guys are new or whatever. It's going to be the United States that says, we want you guys to do a treaty with us, right?
Because they come here.
Because they came here, right? The other part of it that has to be acknowledged is the fact that people know that George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, all these people were Masons. That's a documented fact that they know that they were Masons. That's why there's a George Washington Masonic Museum in Virginia. Because it's a historical fact that they're Masons. Comes back again to the same thing. If they're Masons and they're claiming that they are Prince Hall, whatever, or Scottish Rite, whatever, or Great Lodge of whatever, all their charters come from England. So if they have a charter from England, how is it that they're exercising that over here? How can they exercise Masonic things from Europe in America, right? Because the foundation of the Masonry is here. And them coming here was coming back to where the origin of the stuff was. So when we talk about the indigenous tribes having certain information, like not just historical information, but astrological information, holistic health information, you know. These guys running through the bushes, running through the wrong bushes, and then they need something on their skin because they shouldn't have run through those bushes. It's the Aboriginal tribes they were going to get assistance, to find out how do we deal with this, right? And also too that the nature of us being, you know, not passive but friendly.
Yeah.
The nature of us being friendly is also a large reason why Europeans in America have this we'll say wealth of knowledge in their lodges and stuff like that, because we willingly taught them. We're willingly open to them, right? we knew that they were the slaves that came over here. We knew that the same way how they conceptually look at us with the slave ship story is the same way we looked at them. Back then. That, you know what I mean? They're uncivilized. They need some direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, it wasn't no rulership like what the European slave masters did to us, to subjugate us. You know, but it was still a point of them being the slave, them being the serf, right? So, as much as people were against this union of, you know, the Europeans and then the Moroccans giving them permission to come over here, intermixed with that, the Europeans learning the customs, the ancestral customs of the Asiatics that were already here, not learning from the Sultan, right? Yeah, when they drafted the Constitution, they drafted the Constitution based on law over here, not Sultan's law. So why is it that they're like, why wouldn't they go to the Sultan to set up certain things, right? Why would they be over here and have conversations with the indigenous people here to create a constitution, but their power is derived from the Sultan, which is supposed to be not on this side, right? So there had to be some type of relation between that side and this side in order for these two parties to be involved, the Sultanate and the Aboriginal indigenous people on this side. There has to be a unity between them in order for the European to be able to come over here and still be able to get their permission from the Sultan, at the same time get the knowledge of how to run government. Because they couldn't get the Sultan to teach them how to run government, because that kind of government over there doesn't run over here. It's different from over here, right? It's a totally different jurisdiction. So when we hear people speak from the perspective of, you know, it's like when the people say, well, we went to the Moroccan embassy and they say they don't recognize Moors. Well, why would they say that they recognize Moors? They're subordinate. They stole the birthright. They stole the birthright of the Moors. Stole the Moors' flag. Claimed it as theirs in '56. And then parade around to the world that they're the authority because they got the flag now. When they were really the authority, their kingdom. But then, you know, you have the whole thing with everybody wanting to be everybody's ally. Everybody wanted to have a boy that they can call, yo, we got a situation, we're just gonna send the guy to your thing, and then, you know, you take care of that for us, then we'll do you a favor. You know, Mission Impossible, Minority Report, all those movies there, this international, you know, crossing that keeps going on. But when it comes to somebody from, like, you know, they're gonna mix their jurisdictions to do whatever. But as soon as it comes to, oh, somebody's violating our rights, we need to go to the international people and complain. International people, oh, all of a sudden they can't do it. You know what I mean? You have to go through all the channels. You have to go to the low court, and then you have to go to the middle court, and then you have to go to the secondary middle court. Then you have to go to the high court. Then you have to go to the Supreme Court. Then you have to go, and you have to get denied and all those before international people say, all right, we're going to be involved. Or they'll be involved from afar. You know what I mean? But they won't actually do anything to implement change. They'll talk a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? They'll beat around the bush. They'll say things to make it appear like they're working in favor with the people, but really and truly, their job is just keep the people passive, keep the people distracted, have their vision blurry, so that they ultimately can't really see what's going on, even though it's right there in their face. So George Washington did in people's face. But everybody talking about he's first president. when in the record of George Washington, right? Just like in the record of Christopher Columbus, it said he came over here and there were people here.
Yeah.
His records say that. Okay, George Washington's records say that Europeans should be paying taxes over here. George Washington's records saying that he wasn't the first president. George Washington's records saying that the Sultan had some type of office in New York or something like that in order for him to be engaging with the Sultan through New York. Right? The United States having unanimously appointed me to supreme executive authority in this nation, Your Majesty's letter of August 17th, 1788, which by reason of the dissolution of the late government remain unanswered and has been delivered to me. I have also received the letters which Your Imperial Majesty has been so kind to write in favor of the United States to the Bashars of Tunis and Tripoli, and I present to you the sincere acknowledgments and thanks of the United States for this important mark of your friendship for them. Right? So, the Sultan sends them letters, right? They didn't get the letters. Now, and then George Washington comes up and says, oh yeah, we got the letters, just let me know we got the letters or whatever, right? Now, in Brother Alim El-Bey, Dr. Alim, he talks about there being an infiltration in the United States where they got rid of the real George Washington and then they brought in some imposter to be George Washington. And then that's how they took over and started the whole thing with George Washington, the first president, right? First president under the Reconstructed period, right? But if you wipe out the Reconstructed period, then he's the ninth.
Ninth.
Yeah. Right? So they bring in this imposter now to sit in the seat as George Washington. Right? And apparently with this is where the whole Masonic connection to the United States now is completely infused into the history of the setting up of the United States, quote unquote, government. That really wasn't a government. It was a private corporation of colonists that usurped the government. And then once they usurped the government, now they had the seat of power and they could implement whatever it is that they wanted. And then they implemented all these additions to the amendments in the Constitution, but it's only supposed to be 7 articles and 10 Bill of Rights. Now you got 20-something Bill of Rights or whatever. All of those that got put in fraudulent, right? Because it's only supposed to be 7 articles, 10 Bill of Rights, and that's it, right?
From day one.
From day one to today.
That can't change.
And it's not supposed to change. The only way that it can change is if they have a constitutional convention. Right, which they haven't had a constitutional convention, but they keep adding these things and changing these things. Right? Now, also, we're talking about again the Imperial Majesty, who's the Sultan, being kind enough to write in favor of Tunis and Tripoli. Right? Who at this time, 1789, were in supreme rule as far as the Mediterranean area. So anybody who has any type of navigational vehicles, if they weren't part of Tunis and Tripoli, their boats got kidnapped. Just because, what are you doing here?